Welcome to the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher briefing session with the New York City Department of Housing Preservation and Development, or HPD. Today, we will cover an overview of the Section 8 program, answer any questions you may have about the Section 8 program, and issue your voucher if you remain eligible. What is the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher program? Section 8 is a federally funded rental assistance program. Section 8 assists low-income families. Section 8 participants pay approximately 30% of the family's adjusted income towards the rent, and then Section 8 pays the difference up to the maximum known as the payment standard. Congress funds the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, and in turn, HUD provides funding to public housing authorities, or PHA. In New York City, there are 3 public housing authorities: the New York City Department of Housing Preservation and Development, HPD, the New York City Housing Authority, NYCHA, or New York State Homes and Community Renewal, or HCR. The Section 8 program provides rental assistance to eligible households to assist in renting privately owned apartments. HPD administers the Section 8 program and makes housing assistance payments on behalf of our tenants. There are 3 parties in the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher program. The first and most important is you, the family. The second party is the Public Housing Authority, or in our case, HPD, and then the final party is the landlord. Each party will execute a contract. The family and HPD will execute a contract known as the voucher. Families who are successful in finding an apartment to lease will execute what is known as a lease agreement. And finally, HPD will execute a contract in order to make payments to the landlord. The contract is known as the Housing Assistance Payment Contract, or the HAP contract. Why are you here today? Your Section 8 application was submitted through an HPD division, such as Special Needs Housing, Asset Management, or the Division on Property Management, or through a special initiative. Your application was reviewed by HPD Section 8 for completeness and eligibility, and after a review, you were placed on HPD's Section 8 waitlist. HPD generally draws applicants from the waitlist and schedules them for mandatory briefing in the order they were placed on the waitlist. You are also here to receive information on how the Section 8 program works and your family obligations should you become a Section 8 participant, receive your quite informative briefing book, and to determine whether you remain eligible for the Section 8 program, and, most importantly, to receive your voucher should you remain eligible. What will happen after today? If eligible and your application is complete, you will be issued a voucher and given a landlord package in order to find an apartment to lease. You will have 120 days or 4 months to locate an apartment and submit a completed landlord package to HPD. A landlord package may have already been submitted with your application. You could ask the HPD representative today if one was submitted on your behalf. HPD will process the submitted landlord package, and if approved, HPD will schedule a Housing Quality Standard, or HQS, inspection for the apartment. If the apartment passes inspection, HPD will notify you and your landlord of your approved move-in date via mail if you are moving. If you are remaining in your current apartment, HPD will notify your landlord that your unit has been approved by mailing a Housing Assistance Payment Contract to him or her. You will also be informed of the approval by mail. You must then sign a lease agreement with your landlord, and your landlord must sign a Housing Assistance Payment Contract. The landlord must mail the signed HAP contract and a copy of the lease to HPD within 30 days. Once the HAP contract is returned, HPD will complete one final review of the file, and if you remain eligible, HPD will mail you a new emissions rent breakdown letter stating the contract rent, HPD's HAP share rent, and your tenant share rent, and then you will become a Section 8 participant. Key points to know. You are not a participant in the Section 8 program until you receive a new admission rent breakdown letter. Becoming a participant in the Section 8 program is not only dependent on your compliance, but also on voucher and funding availability. If HPD needs additional information, or AI, HPD will provide you with a notice listing the documents that you need to submit. Your voucher will not be issued to you until all the required documents are received by HPD. If a landlord package is not submitted to HPD by the voucher expiration date on your voucher will expire and you will not receive any notification. Please take note of the voucher expiration date on your voucher. To avoid your voucher expiring, if you are able to, HPD recommends submitting a landlord package for your current residence. If you have an active lease and decide to move anyway with your voucher, you are still responsible for fulfilling your obligation under that lease, as it is a legal binding contract. Section 8 participants are allowed to request a move voucher once a year. The priority right now is for you to become a Section 8 participant. HPD reviews submitted landlord packages for rent reasonableness and affordability. Landlord packages will be rejected if the proposed rent is not reasonable, affordable, or if the landlord package is incomplete. Once HPD accepts your landlord package, the clock on your 120-day voucher is stopped. If your landlord package is rejected, the clock on your voucher is activated again. You will be offered time back on your voucher. What this means is that HPD does not penalize you for the time that it takes us to process your landlord package. You will not lose any days on your voucher term. For example, let's say you was issued a voucher on January 1st for 120 days, and then you submit a landlord package on February 1st, which is 30 days have passed since you were issued the voucher. If your package is then rejected, you will be called into our office and offered a voucher for the 90 days that you have remaining on your voucher term. What is a voucher? A voucher certifies that you are preliminarily eligible to participate in a Section 8 program and that you have 120 days to shop or find housing and submit a completed landlord package to HPD. A voucher is also a contract between you and HPD. What information is on the voucher? The approved unit size or bedroom size that you're eligible for, the date the voucher was issued, the expiration date on a voucher, or the date by which you must submit a complete landlord package to HPD, a brief description of the family obligations, and a description of the rental assistance. This is an example of a Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher. How does HPD determine your unit size or bedroom size of an apartment? Federal regulations allows a maximum of 2 people per living space. A maximum of 4 people can reside in a 1-bedroom apartment with a living room. Federal regulations considers living rooms as sleeping quarters. 5 or more people in a 1-bedroom apartment with a living room is considered overcrowded. HPD cannot provide subsidy to a family residing in overcrowded conditions. Every 2 people are eligible for 1 bedroom. Single households are eligible for a 1-bedroom voucher. A little bit more on unit size. If you are pregnant at the time of your application, please make sure to indicate this and provide documentation, as your unborn child is considered to be an additional member in your family when voucher size is determined. Foster children and live-in aides need to be added to the household composition and must submit vital records and supporting documentation. Foster children will be included in determining unit size only if they will be in a unit for more than 183 days or 6 months a year. How much rent can I afford with my voucher? The payment standard is the maximum monthly subsidy HPD will pay for units, according to the number of bedrooms listed on your voucher or the number of bedrooms in the apartment, whichever is less. Payment standards are subject to change. The most recent payment standards are included in your handy briefing book and at the following website, nyc.gov/hpd-payment-standards. Exception payment standards. In certain zip codes in New York City, HPD has a higher payment standard. These are called exception payment standards, or EPS. The areas are shown in the following slide. During your housing search, please go to the following website, nyc.gov/hpd-payment-standards to find the EPS that applies to the apartment that you find. The areas shaded in blue represent exception payment standards. Higher opportunity neighborhoods are defined as areas in New York City with lower poverty, lower crime, and well-resourced schools. These areas will have exception payment standards, or EPS. For more information about opportunity neighborhoods in New York City and their benefits, please see Appendix G in your most important, very informative briefing book. Here are some benefits of higher opportunity neighborhoods. Children enjoy greater economic success later in life and are more likely to attend college. Children more likely to attend high-performance schools, and adults are more likely to have better health outcomes. Submitting a landlord package. You can submit a landlord package for an apartment with fewer bedrooms than what is listed on your voucher, as long as it does not create an overcrowded household. For example, a 5-member household that is issued a 3-bedroom voucher can submit a landlord package for a 2-bedroom apartment. However, a 5-member household that is issued a 3-bedroom voucher cannot submit a landlord package for a 1-bedroom apartment because it would create an overcrowded situation. You may also submit a landlord package for an apartment with more bedroom size than what is listed on your voucher, as long as the apartment will still be affordable to you. If the gross rent for the unit exceeds the applicable payment standard, the family share of the rent may not exceed 40% of the family's monthly adjusted income. Don't worry, HPD will do that calculation for you. Landlord packages for apartments with gross rents that violate this affordability requirement will not be approved, as the unit is not affordable based on federal regulations. How much rent can I afford with my voucher? Let's do a quick example. Let's say the payment standard for a 1-bedroom apartment is $1,367. And let's say you locate an apartment with a gross rent of $1,500 with your 1-bedroom voucher. And then let's say, based on your income, HPD calculated your tenant share of the rent to be $500. Since you exceeded the payment standard for the 1-bedroom voucher, you will have to pay the difference between the contract rent and the payment standard for your voucher size. So that's $1,500 minus $1,367, which is $133 difference. Your final total tenant share of rent is $500 plus the $133 because you exceeded the payment standard for your voucher size, which equals $633. $633 cannot exceed 40% of your monthly adjusted income. The eligibility for HPD Section 8 voucher. The family must meet the definition of a family, must be within the income limits, must meet HPD program preference, must provide all requested information to HPD, must not have been convicted of producing methamphetamines or federally assisted property, must not be subject to a lifetime sex offender registry, must have at least one household member who is a citizen or a legal resident, and must not have had a household member who was previously terminated by a public housing authority for fraud or owe money to HPD or to another public housing authority. How does HPD calculate your share of the total rent? First, we determine your payment standard from the unit size on your voucher. Then we determine your total rent or gross rent. And then we determine your adjusted income. And then we calculate your total tenant payment or TTP. Your total rent or gross rent is the rent you pay to the landlord plus the utility cost. HPD will determine whether the rent for your unit is reasonable. HPD then determines your gross income by calculating the income from all your family members. Income includes wages before taxes, Social Security, SSI, public assistance, pensions, unemployment, self-employment, child support, family support, and all income from assets. HPD makes deductions for the following: minor children, any children 17 years or younger, seniors and persons with disabilities, disabled or elderly 62 and older, head of household, co-head or spouse with unreimbursed medical or pharmacy expenses, disability assistance for unreimbursed expenses for family members 13 or older, which allow a family member or disabled person to be employed, any child care expense for minors 12 or younger, which allows the head of household to be employed and or further their education, and medical expenses for unreimbursed medical expenses that exceed 3% of the household income for any member of the family. Your adjusted income is your gross income before taxes minus your allowable deductions. The total tenant payment or TTP for voucher holders is the greater of 30% of your monthly adjusted income or 10% of your monthly gross income or public assistance rent or $50, whichever is greater. All income received by any member of the household must be reported. Income includes, but is not limited to, any regular income received from organizations or persons, including relatives and friends not residing in your home, self-employment or seasonal employment, working off the books, child support or alimony, unemployment or workers' compensation, Social Security or SSI, public assistance, pensions and retirements, disability payments, veterans pay, or financial aid or scholarships. Household assets. All assets for any member of the household must be reported. An asset is something you own that you can convert into cash. This includes, but is not limited to, bank accounts, both checking and savings, investment accounts, equity in real estate property, retirement savings accounts, company retirement or pension accounts, lump sum payments, or personal property held as investment. Eligible household members. According to federal regulations, HPD can only provide Section 8 subsidy to U.S. citizens and eligible immigrants. HPD will prorate subsidies for families that include ineligible household members. Prorated subsidy means the assistance will only be applied to eligible household members. Here's an example of proration. In this example, we have a 3-member household. The family has filed a unit within their payment standard with a gross rent of $1,000. In the first scenario, let's assume all household members have eligible immigration status or citizenship, and HPD calculated the tenant share of rent as $200. Since all household members have eligible immigration status or citizenship, HPD's share of rent is $800. In the second scenario, only 2 household members have eligible immigration status or citizenship, and one household member is either an eligible immigrant or chooses not to declare their status. As you can see, the tenant share has increased from $200 to $467 because HPD's share of rent has decreased by 1/3. HPD will only subsidize the 2 household members with eligible immigration status or citizenship. In the final scenario, only 1 household member has eligible immigration status or citizenship. The tenant's share of rent has increased to $733 because HPD will only subsidize the tenant with eligible immigration status. What are the family's responsibilities? To locate an apartment, sign a lease with your landlord, comply with the program's family obligations listed in the briefing booklet and on your voucher, comply with your lease requirements, supply all information requested by HPD, and all information submitted must be true and complete. Sign consent forms, allow HPD to inspect the apartment, allow your landlord access to make repairs to your apartment, correct any damage that your family causes to the apartment, and the subsidized apartment must be your only residence. You must not sublet or lease the apartment. The landlord cannot be a relative except as a reasonable accommodation for a person with a disability if requested by a tenant in advance and approved by HPD. You must notify both HPD and the landlord before you move out. You must notify HPD if you have been given an eviction notice. You must notify HPD if your family will be absent from the apartment for 90 days or more. Do not commit fraud. Do not engage in criminal activity. Do not lie or conceal information. No member of the family can receive any other public housing or rental assistance for the apartment subsidized by HPD or for any other housing unit. You must not allow any person to move into your household unless you have obtained approval from HPD or they have moved in because of marriage, domestic partnership, birth, adoption, or court-awarded custody. You must report changes in the family composition to HPD immediately. If any changes have occurred regarding your household income, family composition, or family assets as of today's briefing date, and prior to you receiving your rent breakdown letter, please contact HPD and submit a declaration of change in household composition or income form and includes supporting documentation promptly. Update your phone and mailing information with HPD whenever there is a change in order to ensure that you receive all notices from HPD because some notices are time sensitive. What is the landlord's role in a Section 8 program? They must complete the landlord package, screen, select, and enter into lease agreements with tenants, comply with fair housing and equal opportunity requirements, comply with the HAV contract, lease, and tenancy addendum, sign a lease with the family, comply with requirements of the lease, sign a HAV contract with HPD, comply with the program's landlord obligations, carry out normal owner functions, enforcing the lease, collecting family share the rent, and charging tenants for damage. Maintain the apartment and ensure the unit meets HPD's housing quality standards. Landlords must not charge any extra amounts to the family except for what is listed in the rent breakdown letter and reasonable charges to the tenant for damages. Landlords may request a rent increase at lease expiration, not more than once a year. Section 8 participants are not responsible for any increases in the rent until the rent increase is approved by HPD. Section 8 participants will receive a rent breakdown letter listing the new approved contract rent when a rent increase is approved. Landlords must not be a relative of the voucher holder. What is HPD's responsibility? HPD determines family eligibility and issues vouchers, conducts inspections, makes housing assistance payments to the landlord, reviews your household and income annually to calculate subsidy amount. HPD administers the Section 8 rental subsidy program according to federal regulations and HPD's administrative plan. Annual activities. HPD must recertify your case each year. You must respond to the recertification mailing within 30 days. You must allow HPD to inspect your apartment biannually or once every 2 years. HPD reserves the right to request more frequent inspections. You must respond promptly to all HPD requests for information. You must notify HPD immediately of any change in your household composition or income. Moving with Section 8 assistance. If you wish to move from your current unit after you complete your first annual certification, you may request a move voucher to find another apartment. To receive a move voucher, you must be in compliance with your Section 8 program family obligation and your lease. You must notify your landlord that you intend to move. You may only move once per year unless you have a good reason, such as a hazardous living condition or a medical need. To receive approval to move, you must find an apartment and submit a landlord package before your voucher expires, 120 days from the issue date. The rent must be approved and the apartment must pass HQS inspection. You may not move without HPD's approval. Tenants may not vacate the assisted unit during the move process if HPD has not approved the move. This may place your subsidy at risk. Portability, or using your Section 8 outside New York City. Once you have been issued a housing choice voucher, either as an applicant or after being approved for a move voucher, you are eligible to use your Section 8 rent subsidy to lease a unit anywhere in the United States where there is a Section 8 program. This includes the U.S. Virgin Islands, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico. If you move outside of HPD's jurisdiction, which is called a port-out, you will be subsidized based on the receiving public housing authority's regular payment and subsidy standards. In order to port out, you must first decide where you would like to move and find the receiving public housing authority that has a Section 8 program in the area. If you intend to port out within the nearby areas, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, contact information for the PHAs is available in an additional handout upon request. You will need to complete a portability request form listing the area and PHA where you would like to move. HPD will prepare a portability package for the receiving PHA, and once the package has been transmitted, the receiving PHA will issue you a new voucher to use in their jurisdiction. You must locate an apartment within the receiving PHA's jurisdiction before your new voucher expires, or you will not be able to receive Section 8 assistance. Remember, to be able to port out to a new PHA, you must be within their income eligibility guidelines, not HPD's, and your new voucher will be subject to their payment standards. Additional screenings may also be required by the receiving PHA. You may only use documents issued by the receiving PHA in their jurisdiction. Denial or termination process. If you are ineligible or don't meet your family obligations under the Section 8 program, you may be denied assistance or terminated from the program. If you have committed fraud or a crime, you may be referred to federal and local law enforcement for prosecution. HPD will notify you in writing if you are denied assistance or subject to subsidy termination. If you don't agree with HPD's decisions about your eligibility or assistance, you may appeal HPD's decision. The instructions for filing an appeal will be sent with your denial or termination notice. Program integrity. Fraud and program abuse are single acts or a pattern of actions that are intended to deceive or mislead. Making a false statement, omitting information, or concealing information in order to obtain Section 8 assistance or to reduce the amount of rent you pay are all considered fraud, program abuse, and misuse of federal funds. Your assistance may be denied or terminated if you or a family member has willfully and intentionally committed fraud, bribery, or any other corrupt or criminal act in connection with any federal housing program. You may also face arrest and criminal prosecution. HPD uses HUD's Enterprise Income Verification, or EIV, Internet database to identify families who have unreported and or underreported income. EIV provides HPD with information about monthly employer new hires, quarterly wages including employer information, quarterly unemployment compensation, and monthly Social Security and Supplement Security income benefits. An EIV brochure is included in your briefing book. If you know of anyone who provided false information on a housing assistance application or recertification, or if anyone tells you to provide false information, please report that person to the New York City Department of Investigation at 212-825-5900 or HPD's Program Integrity and Compliance Unit at 917-286-4300, extension 8032, or HUD's Office of Inspector General hotline at 1-800-347-3735, or you could just call 311. Please carefully read the document in your briefing book entitled Things You Should Know. Housing discrimination. HPD will not deny you the equal opportunity to apply for or receive assistance based on your race, color, sex, religion or creed, national or ethnic origin, family or marital status, handicap or disability, sexual orientation or gender identity, prior arrest or conviction record, or status as a victim of domestic violence. It is illegal for property owners, brokers, or management agents to refuse to rent to you based on your lawful occupation or source of income, including Section 8 vouchers, race, color, religion or creed, age, sexual orientation, national or ethnic origin, gender or gender identity, citizenship status, handicap or disability, or family, marital, or partnership status. If you believe you have been a victim of housing discrimination, please contact 311. The law also protects you from retaliation for filing a complaint. Family Self-Sufficiency, or FSS. FSS is an employment and training program that enables participants to achieve their employment-related goals and accumulate savings. If you join FSS, an increase in your family share of rent because of increased income from employment can lead to an escrow account. Successful graduates earn an average of $7,000 in their savings account at the end of 5 years. If you are interested in joining, please contact the client services number at 917-286-4300 after you receive the new admission rent breakdown letter and once you are an official Section 8 participant. What happens now? After this presentation, if eligible and your application is complete, an HPD representative will issue you a voucher. If you are issued a voucher, a landlord package must be submitted to HPD within 120 days unless you intend to remain in your current apartment and you confirm with HPD staff today that a landlord package has been received. If HPD approves the landlord package, an HQS inspection will be scheduled for the apartment. If you reside in an apartment you submit a landlord package for, you must provide access for the inspection. If the apartment passes inspection, HPD will send a housing assistance payment contract to the landlord to execute. HPD will also send you a notice letting you know the apartment was approved and approved move-in date if you are moving. You must sign a lease with your landlord. Once the HAP and lease are returned, HPD will complete a final review of the file, and if you remain eligible, HPD will process your new admission into the Section 8 program. You will receive a new admission rent breakdown letter listing the address, contract rent, HPD share of the rent, tenant share of the rent, and listing the names of all household members approved to reside in an assisted unit. You are then a Section 8 participant in the HPD Section 8 program. This concludes the Housing Choice Voucher briefing presentation. We thank you so much for your participation today and for your patience. Please remember to keep track of that very informative, very handy briefing book that you were given today should you have any questions regarding the Section 8 program in the future. At this time, we invite you to ask any questions that you may have regarding the Section 8 program.